So since last video, I didn't turn on my camera because I wanted to 100% focus on getting everything right. And in the previous video, it ended with me installing the radiator. But now the next big step is getting the seat, steering wheel, steering column, and pedals, and the steering rack, which is down there, in the right position. And well, as you can see, I did that already. Not the right position, but some position. So the seat has been lowered a little bit. The steering column is suspended with zip ties here, and I made some extra cuts here to make more room for everything. I welded the steering rack temporarily to some like leftover parts of steel, so it's solid enough to be able to like use it, but it's absolutely not final. And did the same thing with the pedal box. First issue I run into is that the brake booster doesn't fit together with the radiator. But I already marked here, if I cut a little bit of this plastic, because as you can see this is quite deep and there is nothing behind. So if I cut this little bit piece of plastic, then this can go like inside. It wouldn't affect anything that much. And or I can move the mounts a little bit forward, angle them like this, and then the radiator should still fit. So that's the main thing, I guess, is that this is going to fit. Maybe I can even move the pedal box forward a little bit, but that depends on the seat position. So the seat position, I just keep climbing in, sitting, feeling everything's fine. It is fine now, but it's a little bit further away, but I'd rather use that to like angle the seat backwards a little bit. So it's like almost straight up now, and it works and probably will drive fine. But the seating, but you want to have a little bit more lean back seating position to, in, well, a race car. It is a race car. It doesn't look like a race car, but it is. One thing at least I don't have to worry about is head space, because this thing is such a tall vehicle, it's so weird. Yeah. Okay, floor is going to be roughly like that. I'm probably going to use this aluminum teardrop plate. Is that that's literal translation from Dutch, but I don't know if that's called diamond plate. I think it's diamond plate in English. Doesn't matter, but that's going to be recessed a little bit because the I don't know if I can show it right now. No, probably not, because everything's in the way. Let me remove the radiator. Put it here for the time being. This hits the floor, and it just needs a little bit more room. So if I reset, this is just like sandwiched in place. But if I cut this and recess this, it can be the final position for the floor. What next? Oh yeah. So for now, but since I cut this so often, it's the legs are now uneven. This is only tack welded on the inside with one tack, so it keeps like bending and breaking. So I'm first going to fix the seat position. I'm gonna cut this a little bit because I wanted to have it slanted back a little bit, and then make this strip all the way around and bolt it to the floor because it keeps moving around. The floor, well, it is quite thick glass fiber, but I don't want to use that as actual mounting it to. But I am going to do that for now. And then when the car is off the frame machine, I'm gonna lift it on the car lift, and then make some mounting brackets on the inside that mount to the floor frame. Let's get the angle grinder. Okay, I cut off a little piece of the rear legs. The front legs are still the same length, so this tilts back the seat a little bit more. I tack welded them quickly to some strips, 50 by 3 mil steel, and well, there was here before, but there is a large ruler that I taped to the back of the cabin, and this is roughly where the window will be. It will be a little bit further back, but I want to have a little bit of margin there. So it's almost touching now, and the seating position is, I just sat in it and it's okay-ish. It's tilted back, I can reach the pedals. It feels a little bit racy because of the angle. The steering wheel though is a little bit weird. This room is not too big, so it's hard to get in, and you have to wiggle your feet and legs in between here. So I already marked this part, so I'm gonna cut this out, and then I have to make some kind of recess later so I can use this space to get in. And then also there will be a big cross here, so that will be very hard to get in and out. But my idea is that like the cross will go like down from here or there, maybe somewhere there. So I can like step over the cross like in this region and then like sit down and, well, it's hard to, I'll just show you. I'll cut away this piece, the marked piece there in the firewall, and then I'll put the camera on the tripod and show. Too bad. I have to remember that this will be tilted up a little bit more, so that probably makes quite a difference. I'll prop it up with something after this to make sure that's in the correct angle, because I want to make sure that this is the way to go before I make some brackets. There's be a bracket here, for example, and down there. But yeah, so this will be quite a truck driver seating position, I guess. The steering wheel feels like it's almost flat like this. But I guess like in a car the angle is more flat, and like in a lorry or a box van or whatever, the shorter the cabin, the more angled the steering wheel position will be. And I have no idea, I've never raced a box truck, but I don't think it will actually be a problem. So this car is not there will never be a cornering car, so like a track day car. I'll probably do a track day once or twice, but not a, it's not the purpose. The purpose is just to go straight ahead. So if I'm track racing, it shouldn't really matter. And during like long road trips, it should be fine. By the way, snap-off steering wheel would be an easy solution, obviously. But I kind of want to keep the original steering wheel, the original steering column, everything original. Because then also I get cruise control. And if I want to go to, for example, the Cholven Tref, like the annual Cholven meeting of the Cholven Club. And that's about a 5 hour or something, like 5.5 hour drive. And if I would be like in a super awkward position, then 5.5 hours is very long. I know for sure that the dashboard's not going to work, so that I can drop that idea. Okay, another progress update. I bolted down the seat to the floor, so that's sort of sturdy now, that's good. And I made a temporary bar that I can remove if I want, like this. Just to be able to check the door cross, and also this one. The big issue with the door cross, I figured out, is that it's a sliding door, so it's not a door that opens like a normal car. Here is the door handle, and that's also already going to be hard to open, so I'll probably have to like extend this to be able to pull it from here. But that sticks in like 9 centimeters, and that from this edge, so that will just clear this bar, so I can't go out and then back just to have some extra leg room or entrance room here, so to say. But I can do this in the bottom because the door handle is only moving here, and this is like completely free. So I can have a little bit, so I can put my feet here probably. Let's just test it out. Let me just get in. So this is the floor. I stand here, then I stand here, go over, and I can go in if I want, but I can never go like this. It's going to be tight, but it's a race car, and there's always concessions you have to do in when it comes to comfort or ease of getting in and out. So yeah, I'm getting out like this, go over on the door sill like this. Well, it's actually not that bad. I expect it to be worse, and this will go a little bit further back even, but then also will be 40mm tube, but it will probably be on this axis instead of here. So that's another 32.5mm gain, and that's in some places it's important to gain 32mm. Jesus. Okay, yesterday I started working on the steering wheel because I figured that might be the most important thing to get in the right position right away, or as first. And this is the original, how would you call it, dashboard bar from the S60. So if I turn around like this piece used to go here, like this, and there's where the radio goes and the air conditioning controls and everything. And that's the steering column from the other S60, but there's a piece missing here, and the tube is here, and half of the other part, I don't even know where that gone, where it went, but the other part at least is here now, and this is like the half of the original bracket from the S60 where the steering column mounts to. And it is in like this, and the nice thing, it's a little bit further back as I had it fixed down with some tie wraps before, but now the fun thing is that I can raise and lower the steering wheel, and also pull it in and out. I think I have to, well, I'm not in a position to put any leverage on it, but anyway, everything's original. So the original lock, the ignition switch, the steering wheel, the connectors, everything is original. And now I have the output shaft is here, and then I just have to cross this part. It's a little bit tight, but there is another, somewhere in my world is the other side of the, oh here. It's a little bit of a mess now because I'm walking back and forth like a gazillion times. But this is the other side of the steering rack. And I'm probably going to take the flexi part here off and just use this part and bolt and this like, so this side, the right side, the greasy side, that's the side that goes into the steering column over there like this. And this part is the part that should connect to the steering box. And normally there is a lot more space, but since this is obviously a very short car, there is not enough space to use this. And also this is a 240 steering rack. I don't know exactly what that part is. I think it's S60 also, but I already made it fit. Drilled it out to 19mm, so it fits over that shaft. And with a small bolt, it should clamp down on that shaft. It's not fully on, but I just need to fine tune that a little bit more. But so this connection is, well, I wouldn't say peanuts, but should be fairly easy, straightforward to get that fixed. And then the steering box should be able to move. Then we can connect this and then everything will steer. That's one thing. Then I put in this bar. It's a 30mm bar. It's not DOM, it's normal regular steel. But inside the car, like 16 centimeters that way, is already a 40mm DOM bar. That's the dashboard bar that runs here, where the steering column is also fixed to. So this one is not like in a structural way important. So that's why I chose for a little bit smaller size. And I'm going to make two small runners that go from here to here and from there to there. So then the steering column is completely fixated. And then we have the pedal box that's going to run from here to here and from here to here. Once it's in final position, I think I want to move it a little bit up and forward. Yeah, long story short, steering almost working nice. Next, reverse coffee. Okay, this is actually quite good. It's a little bit more back than yesterday, also tilted a little bit down, so it's less room here. Yeah, I don't want to notch. I could move this up, but then I have to like notch this tube, make it like a bend or whatever. It's close to me and it won't fit like large people. I'm 174. I have no idea how many feet and inches and toes and whatever that is, but it's 174. It's not that big. It's like average size, I would say. Yeah, there's no way to move the seat backwards more. Well, the thing that I'm afraid of actually is that like when I go drive this car and I now choose this position, it might be that it's not as nice as I anticipated when I actually go out. But also my experience is that I tend to overthink this stuff. So, yeah, let's sleep on this for a night, and then we'll see. This is gonna take some time to get used to. This is very narrow. This is the hardest part, because whatever I choose now will be here forever. If I'm gonna change this, I can't really change it. Well, I can, but it's what to do. What to do. So I've been thinking a little bit, and after like only 5 minutes, it dawned to me that if I move this side down, the steering wheel will move up, because this is then the hinge point. And well, maybe you can notice, but it's already a lot higher. So this will be a few centimeters, like 2-3 centimeters lower. So I have to make a new bracket that I just spent like half an hour on, but if that's everything, I'll be happy. Let me put the camera on the tripod and show you when I get in how much easier it is. Hang on. So here we go. Go up, over, and in. This is so much better. And also the seating position is a lot better. And if I want, I can also always like move it in or out a little bit. But I think this is a good position. This is it. This is going to be the position. Yes, so much better than moving this bar. I was really not looking forward to that. Yes, great. Okay, this is really weird. So the steering column is now in place. So now the only thing I have to do is connect the steering rack with the steering column. And I wanted to use the original parts for this. And this is some kind of like hardy disc for whatever safety, impact protection, whatever. I don't need it. So I want to have this clamp directly to this universal joint. So I ground away the original, like some sort of rivets they are. And then I took this off. So it's on a shaft, like an alignment shaft, and these pins normally go in here, and they are press fit, so I had to use a punch and a hammer to get it out. And then I found that there is ball bearings, like proper ball bearings, inside this. So this is fixated to each other, and it could like probably bend a little bit like this, because of this like rubber disc. But it should never be able to rotate because of these pins. So this is fixed, but this shaft, so it can rotate like super freely on this shaft, but it's fixed. So why is there ball bearings? Maybe for like a little bit of motion in and out, but why? That like this feels like very unnecessary. I don't know, but maybe I'm missing something. It's really weird, I think. Let me know in the comments if you know why this needs a bearing. So there are a few milestones in this build. When I put on the wheels, back and front, when I connected the full loop in the frame. But this is also a nice milestone, is that the steering wheel, which is in a nice position now, also connects to the steering rack. And it's completely made with the original S60 parts. And well, that one bolt there is not fully in yet, because I need to grind away a little bit in the original steering rack pin, but that's it. But that's just a minor thing, but it runs, well, now it's fallen out, but anyway, it works. So this is a milestone. Now let's connect it tomorrow probably, because I'm quite tired, but next thing is to connect it to the actual hubs, take away all the temporary bracing and stuff after I finalize the position for the what's it called, pedals. I'm tired. I'm gonna go in. It's smoky as hell in here from all the grinding and working, and I'm done, and I burned my finger and it hurts. Okay, bye. was working on these spacers and didn't have the right die, M14 by 1.5 fine thread. I couldn't leave it alone, and I wanted to end this video, which will be on YouTube Friday, with a completely working steering system. So if I turn the steering wheel, the wheel should steer. Without these spacers I couldn't get that finished. I didn't want to leave you guys hanging with a half done project, and so I just decided to drive to Elbu, which is like an hour drive, and just get a die and to be able to finish the product. So now we're on the way back to home, another hour in the car, which is not a punishment at all. It's actually quite nice, and the weather is nice, and also we're getting like 20 centimeters of snow tonight, and it's New Year's Eve, and tomorrow everything's closed, so this was like the only opportunity I had to get it. Anyway, let's get back to the workshop and finish this thing. And there we go, one adapter finished. Let's clean it and install. Okay, I installed this on the car, and this is with the steering wheel turned all the way to the passenger side, and the wheel still, well, just straight. And it should be like this. And I was like, what the hell? And while making this, I was already, my mind, a small voice in the back of my mind was already like, this is way too long. You made an error somewhere. And then I thought about it, couldn't see it. And now I looked at the numbers again. And the difference is indeed 198.5 mil. But the thing I forgot to do was divide it by 2. So these lengths are way too long. So what I'm going to do now is erase this, calculate this. That's 40 something. I'm gonna use my calculator because my math skills are notoriously bad. So recalculate these numbers, put that one, take that one off the car, machine it down so I keep try to rescue as much as possible from the aluminum, and redo this. Damn, I feel stupid sometimes, but I'm just human, so let's update the numbers. Yes, I really suck at math. I just said 198.5 divided by 2 is 48 something. Yes, that's a fourth, not half of it. So 99.25 is half of 118, blah, blah, blah. And these are the new numbers. I'm not going to bore you too much with that. Let's put this thing back in a lathe and go again. There we go. Okay, the grand finale of this project, the steering wheel. What happens if I steer? Yeah, you already know. The wheel turns, the wheel moves, which is really nice. And yeah, I do have to really finalize the steering geometry stuff. I have to make some brackets that the steering rack actually mounts to, because now it's just held in place with some tack welds. But This is good. Now I can start getting other stuff into place. Nice milestone. So now the wheels are attached to the steering wheel. Now we have steering. It's time to end this video. But before I actually end the video, I'm going to go to the nerd board and explain a little bit about Ackerman, tow, etc. and all the concerns that I have and people expressed about this my steering setup. Most people probably won't like that, but for the actual nerds out there that actually like steering geometry and stuff like this, I'm going to try to tell a little bit about Ackerman. Not what Ackerman is and how it works, but what actually creates Ackerman and how you could change it, and what my plan with Ackerman is. So for the ones that don't just want to see me work and now are going to watch another video, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your dog, everybody about this channel. Oh, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram. It's also Bad Decision Works. And in my stories there, I post like every little update. Well, not every, but a lot of like very minute details, and in real time. So if you really want to follow the project, you can do that past there. And well, thanks for watching. And now we head over to the board. So here we are at the nerd board. Let's talk about two things. Tow. For the ones that have to have their minds refreshed, tow is the angle of the steering wheels opposite to each other. So if you have tow in, this image is the top view of a car. This is the steering wheel, rear axle, front axle. This car has, well, a lot, just to exaggerate a little bit, but a lot of tow in. And if the wheels would point out, it's tow out, obviously. That's that. Ackerman is the difference between the angle of the front wheels. So what you want to have, in short, Ackerman is that the center of the axis of both wheels should point towards a turn. So if you have a track that has very tight turns, you want to have a lot of Ackerman. So this wheel would be a lot further in to get these lines to get to this point, because the apex is here, whatever. So that's Ackerman. That's the principle of Ackerman, is the difference between the angles of the two wheels. How do you get Ackerman? I first have to show this little diagram. This is a wheel. This is the upright. So if we talk in an actual car, this is a wheel. This is the upright, the thing that the wheel and the suspension, the suspension and the brakes and the tie rods mount to. That's this thing. And then we have knuckles. That's these knuckles. That's where the tie rod attaches to. And then we have tie rods. That's the thing that I made before, or at least I made an extension for, the spacer. And we have the steering rack. And the steering rack is the thing that translates the rotating motion from the steering wheel to a linear motion, left-right, to be able to turn the wheels. Okay, that's a very basic setup of a steering system. Then we have the knuckles. The knuckles, this is a top view. The knuckle is here, it's pointed very much inwards. And in this diagram, I show the difference between very inwards or very towards the tire, very outwards position knuckle. And this is what determines Ackerman. The more angle that you have in the knuckle position, according to the center, the axis of the steering. So this is, say for example, this is where the steering rotates around. So it's this distance here, inwards or outwards, that determines the Ackerman effect. That's one thing. Then you can also have dynamic tow. So the position of the rack, according to this plane where the tie rods run to and the knuckles are in the neutral position, that's what determines dynamic tow. Dynamic tow means that the further the wheel turns in, the more it rotates per movement of the rack. So if the rack here moves out like 10 millimeters that way, it in first will be, I don't know, give or take 10 degrees. But the more that you go towards the end of the steering rack, the more angle that the wheel gets, the more angle you get with each increase. So that means that, like, this are hypothetical numbers, but for the in the beginning 10 millimeters stands for 10 degrees, and in the end 10 millimeters can stand for 15 or 20 degrees. That's dynamic toe, also important. Mostly for race cars. This car, again, for the ones that don't know yet, it's going to be a drag race car / hoon car. So it's never going to be make lap times or whatever. It's just going to go straight lines and burn tires. That's the main purpose for this car. But also it has to be safe, obviously, on the public roads, because I'm going to try to, hopefully going to try to make it street legal. And if not, then still, wherever I go with the car, I want to have it as safe as possible. Okay, so moving the rack forward or backwards also has a big influence on the dynamic toe. The knuckle position determines the Ackerman position, or the Ackerman effect, I should say. What I did with this car is that the steering rack normally mounts somewhere here on this angle, and the knuckle is, so I flipped both uprights. So the knuckle normally is here on this axis. I can really show this easily on the back axle, which is in the original position still. Here's the upright again, and here's the knuckle that's on the back side of the axle. Both subframes are the same. That one's very much cut up, but they are the same in the beginning. But due to space constraints, as I explained before, I couldn't have the rack in the back of the axle. It has to be in front of the axle. No problem, just use a 240 rack, which has the steering rack in front of the axle normally, so that works out fine. So if I steer to the left with the steering wheel, the wheels also go to the left, that's good. But by flipping from back to front, and rotating this knuckle assembly, it's really hard to see because the actual rotation axis is probably around here somewhere in the middle. But by flipping it from back to front, I also invert the knuckle. I could not really determine in the research I did in the past day if that's actually dangerous. Might be, depends on, I guess it depends on what you do with the car. Because if you drive in a straight line, Ackerman and whatever is not applicable. And also if you turn the steering wheel a little bit, like the highway or whatever, the effect of the Ackerman effect is like very minimal. Like the toe stuff, dynamic toe, Ackerman, like if you tilt the steering wheel like half a degree, it shouldn't really matter. Disclaimer here, this is all hypothetical, this is very theoretical, I have no idea, so don't follow me. I'm just, don't take my rambling now as advice or do things to your car that according to what I say now. I'm just thinking out loud and telling what my considerations are in this project. So that having said that, the thing that I have to do is calculate what should be the Ackerman, and the thing that I have to solve is how do I change the Ackerman to be correct. It's not a priority issue right now, and I can do it whenever, so it's probably going to be somewhere down the line in this project. But probably I will make this knuckle, like remove the original knuckle and make some kind of mounting point here on the original thing, so I can have a dynamic knuckle, so I can move it in or out. That's one thing. And also for the dynamic toe, I now went with a very neutral, almost 100% neutral dynamic toe setup, because this, as you can see, this is very much in one line. So the steering rack and the knuckle is in one line. So if I want to affect this, I can make a mount for the whole steering rack to move in and out. And there is a little bit of movement available here in this slip yoke in the steering column. So it should be able to be moved back and forth. Not much, because the pedal box is a little bit in the way, but also here I can cut out a little bit here to make room for the axle to be moved in or out. So that's all problems that are very minor and can be solved in the end. Okay, so summarize, I'm almost at 10 minutes, I don't want to make this video too long. To summarize, things that are important with the steering for me, for this considerations are the toe and the Ackerman. Well, toe I can adjust, that's no problem. The Ackerman, I have no idea what it is actually right now, so I have to do some measurements and calculations, but I know how to adjust it. So you move the knuckle in or out on the steering rack plane to adjust the Ackerman effect. And also the dynamic toe, I don't know what I want, but I would know I want to change it probably in the future, so I have to make that also, well, dynamic to have dynamic toe. That's it. Thanks for watching, and on that bombshell, see you next video.